Well, good morning. Welcome back to the Broadcast Retirement Network. I'm Jeff Snyder. This is BRN AM for Monday, September 26th, 2022. And our top story today, what is art? An artificial intelligence program ignites a debate. Well, Jason, thanks so much for joining us. Really appreciate having you on the program this morning.
Thank you, Jeff. I'm glad to be here.
And I know that you're president and CEO of Incarnate Games, and I want to get to that in a couple of minutes, but I want to talk about artificial intelligence, and I know you are a game designer, and you recently won, I believe, an art contest using artificial intelligence. How do you define AI?
Yeah, that's a monumental question. Artificial intelligence has been around for probably the last several decades. It's algorithmic. It's people think of it as a form of intelligence when really it's just computer code. And that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to emulate human intelligence. And the best way that we know how to do that is through the use of computer software and hardware. But yeah, I have a bachelor's in computer science, but I don't really code much anymore. The AI is probably a very complicated program to write. So these people that are creating it are, the brains of our industry. Kudos to them. I couldn't first tell you how it works. It's amazing though. And there's definitely more than just one conversation revolving around this topic. We have things as simple as it being used in video games to simulate certain types of interactions with NPC characters, or all the way up to the transhumanist movement, where you have Ray Kurzweil that believes we're going to merge with machines and the entire universe is going to wake up to some kind of smart integration with our technology. And so it's a huge topic, and it crosses multiple disciplines. And yes, I did use, so the big topic right now, of course, is AI being used in art and as a creative tool. So I started using a program called Midjourney a few months ago when it was still in beta, invite only. Someone was kind enough to give me an invite. So as soon as I got on there, I was like a kid in the candy store, because the way that these text to image AI generating tools work is unlike anything that I've really experienced before. You get to literally watch your imagination appear on the screen, and that's a really special thing. So I did extensive testing. I was really active in the community. I ended up making some online resources. And then after all my testing, I started my own project called Space Opera Theater. And I created over 900 iterations. I'm well over 1,800 now. But at the time, it was conservatively 80 plus hours that I had spent generating and curating and refining my prompt. Because the way that this works is you type a text string. Basically, your creative energy it flows through what is called a prompt. And this prompt then is sent into the AI generation tool, in this case, Midjourney. And the AI makes an interpretation of what you're trying to say. The AI is like, I feel you. I know what you're saying. So I think this is what you want to see. And then it comes back with an output. And based on whether you want that output or not, you can do variations or upscale it or run the prompt again. So I did a lot of that until I started getting the consistent results that I was wanting to see in the style and voice, and having the types of feelings and emotions that I wanted to evoke in the piece starting to appear. And then I just kept going and kept going and kept going. And eventually I had so many that I well, I realized, oh, the fair is coming up soon. I want to share this with the world. I want to, express my creativity to others and give them an example of how powerful AI can be. So I entered into the Colorado State Fair and I won first
and you
place.
won.
Yeah, I won.
And you won, and that's amazing. And what was the reaction? I mean, how did the traditional artists? I'm just going to put them in air quotes. How did the traditional artists react to your creation through artificial intelligence, through Midjourney?
Right. So it's very split. You have, on one hand, people that really love the work that I did, and when they learned that it was artificial intelligence that was used as a tool to create it, they're accepting of that and they find it fascinating. And so I got a lot of positive feedback. However, obviously that's not the reason why we're here, because it caused a huge controversy. The other side is less than on board with it. I got a lot of backlash. I got a lot of hate. I got a lot of hate mail. I even had some death threats. People were
over art,
over a contest that only won me $300. But
I mean, that just seems blown out of proportion, don't you think?
Well, it's part of a larger conversation that's going on, and that's really, I mean, I knew I wanted to make a statement using Midjourney. I mean, obviously, I can't ignore that the factors that people are concerned with are definitely going to play a role in my submission for the contest. But I mean, I just thought it was going to further the debate. I didn't really realize it was going to really put a finger on the pulse of the art community, where they're showing. So I think a lot of the backlash and the hate and the, I don't know, I think it might be it's not a good attitude to have. Let me just put it that way. I feel they feel like it's going to replace artists. Let me tell you this story. Earlier this year, artists were saying, "Oh, artificial intelligence will never be able to do what I do. It's not going to ever be powerful enough to, be as creative as the human mind or the human skill ability of creating artwork. That's way down the road. I don't need to worry about that." And then literally just months later, I enter into a contest and win first place. And now I'm being accused of cheating. I'm being accused of entering into a foot race and finishing in a Lamborghini. And I have to say, hold on, stop. Excuse me? Like, just earlier this year, you were saying this wasn't possible. This wasn't going to happen. And now all of a sudden I'm driving a Lamborghini across the finish line. You can't have it both ways, really. That doesn't work with me. I'm not wanting to attack the people that are saying this. What it is it's the shock. They are shocked that they were wrong and they were in denial. And, fast forward to today, we're dealing with this now. And I think that once artists recognize, because a lot of it, I think, is they haven't used it. Because I share similar views on where they're coming from. I was skeptical about it at first too. I thought the same things, like it's going to replace artists. This is terrible for the art community. But then when I used it, that's when my opinion started to change. I realized, okay, this isn't what they think it is. And so I just encourage artists, take a page out of Peter Moorbacher's book, famous artist. He's championing Midjourney. He's saying this is great for concepts, ideation, even integrating it into his own work. So I think that if artists can recognize it as a tool and stop denying themselves the power of the technology that's available to us, then it'll help them to adjust and we can move forward.
Yeah, well, hold that thought. I want to talk about the definition of art when we come back.
All right.
We're gonna talk to Jason in a couple of minutes. You're gonna want to stay tuned right here on BRN AM. Imagine a new television network that will make you richer, healthier, and in control of your financial future. This network is for the policewoman in Nashville, Tennessee, the baker in Dubuque, Iowa, the teacher in Lexington, Kentucky. We want to make the idea of savings and retirement culturally relevant. But what do you see as a defining issue of the midterms, especially for the smaller businesses? I mean, they are the lifeblood of the American economy. Featuring exclusive interviews, current affairs, and docuseries. 33 years old, you retired early.
The philosophy is money only matters if it helps you live a life that you love.
But you got to start thinking about retirement as soon as you get in.
The Broadcast Retirement Network will drive very high engagement with premium partnerships. So this isn't retirement and savings for your parents or grandparents. This is for all Americans. And we're going to change the way you think about money. Welcome to the next frontier of retirement and savings. This is BRN, the Broadcast Retirement Network.
Yes, we're on thin ice. And everything is going up in smoke. Our planet is under the weather. But when the going gets tough, the tough get, well, you know. Love it or lose it.
Are you over 50? Would you like to get up to 33% more income in retirement? Then call now for this free book, Annuity Do's and Don'ts for Baby Boomers. This free book reveals little-known secrets about annuity strategies that will help you make the right choices before buying an annuity. Call right now for your free book, and as a bonus, we'll also throw in a free annuity rate report, both absolutely free for calling Annuity General today.
Call 800-504-8194.
Well, Jason, thanks so much for sticking with us this morning. Really appreciate having you on the program.
Yes, sir. This is awesome. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah, let's. I want to follow up because a great story in a lot of ways about the use of technology, how it applies, and people actually getting nervous about the application of this technology. And I think you probably can go back to the beginning of time, maybe to like the wheel. People were afraid of the wheel and what that would do. I'm not asking for any death threats. Don't send them to me. I'm not going to respond. I think my next question to you, Jason, is how do you define art? Because you sat down with this program. You said you put in 80 plus hours. You were trying to invoke your own emotion through these pieces. Isn't that what art is? And you're just using a different palette and different tools to do it.
Right. So I think the definition of art is simple. I can put it simply. It's bringing vision into form. So art can be anything. But that's, I think, at the core, the foundation of it is you have something in here that you want to bring into the world and share with other people. And if other people see your imagination, your vision into form, and they react to it, you've just created art. And yeah, I understand that's pretty rudimentary, and it just only expands from there, right? And the tool and the medium and the technique and the amount of time or just all of those things are only, attributes of what constitutes art. As long as you can express yourself in a creative way to other people, you're creating art. And I think if you fast forward to now, like, because you said this has been this has probably been a debate since the beginning of time when we were painting on making cave paintings on the wall. And then, the first paintbrush was, now the paintbrush is going to take over. And like the camera is a tool that people were afraid of. It was going to replace portrait artists. And we know now that that's not the case. And photography is definitely an art form. And, when you fast forward to today, we're just dealing with the next iteration of technology and the power that we have available to us. It's that's the purpose of technology, is to make things easier, faster. It's the whole point of a computer. And so you have art on one hand, which is a higher form of communication. And on the other hand, you have AI now, which is just a higher form of computation. And the marriage of the two is poetic, really.
Yeah. Now, what do you think? I mean, as you're talking about this, I'm thinking about people that use all different mediums for art. They use clay, they weld, they paint. You, like I said before, you chose to use this program to release and show your vision of the world. So really, how do you get the people who are on the other side, the contrarians, the cons, I guess, how do you bring them over? Do they need to try the program for themselves, maybe request to be a beta tester, or when the program actually gets released? I mean, is that really the way to kind of get through this is try it out, see how you can apply it. Maybe you could design something through AI, through this tool, and then you can add your own paint or something to it, right? I mean, there's a lot of different ways you can kind of go through this.
Right. So I'd like to quote David Holz, who's the creator of Midjourney. He said, "We need more imagination in the world." And really, that's what the whole point of and goal of what they're wanting to create here is, a way for people to further express themselves and further this, the language of art. And maybe, like what you're saying, people might just have to try it for themselves. I don't feel like, if you're creating art from an honest place that's coming from the soul, something like this shouldn't bother you. It's like you're choosing the way that you want to express yourself, because that's how you know and feel in your heart how you want to express your creativity. And I mean, so no one can take that away from you. And if something like this is a threat, maybe if you're threatened by new technologies or new forms of art or new art movements, maybe you need to look inside and ask yourself what it means to be an artist for you, because this might replace certain jobs, right? But it's not going to replace your soul, right? So the people that are just churning out commercial art for the purposes of, just a presentation or whatever, like these really basic or reproducible graphic designs and logos or whatever. If this replaces that, I don't know if I'd feel like it was replacing art necessarily. It's like,
people use I'm sorry to interrupt you. But
no, go ahead.
People use Photoshop.
Sure.
I grew up when people were using making T-shirts, right? They used to tie dye. Now a lot of that stuff is done through manufacturer. It totally replaced the people doing tie dye and screening of T-shirts. Mm-hmm. So maybe that's the issue, is that these are tools to be used to make things better, and you're an example of that. Let me ask you, in the time you have left, I mean, the Colorado State Fair is a year away. Do you think you'll be doing another submission?
I'd love to. I am considering it right now. The board authority of, I can't remember the full name of it. It's the state working with the Colorado State Fair to discuss this last week, actually, of whether or not they're going to expand the categories to include artificial intelligence as its own category. And if they do that, I'm open to that. And I most likely would enter again because, I'm in this to share my work with other people. And I'm glad that it brought this up because it's important. I think we've seen technology replacing a lot of things, and it's always been an issue, but it also creates a lot of new industries, a lot of new jobs. It's just us advancing as a species. But I guess, so I will say though, that once the technology gets powerful enough that it's replacing the people that use it, that's redundant, and maybe we need to, take a look at that. And that's the bigger conversation I'm wanting to have, is that AI might be the critical disruption where it's crossing more than just one discipline. Now, so maybe it's good that we're talking about it in terms of art, because that's a special thing. It's a intrinsic sort of sacred place that we hold as people. So it's good because it's not just about art. It's about all disciplines and industries. What do we want to do about that? How do we want to approach this? Because AI is like a jaguar. It's beautiful and amazing and awesome, powerful, but it's also very dangerous. And so we don't get rid of the jaguar. We need to learn how to create the boundaries and how we can live together with it, because this is going to come up even more over the course of the following years, because we're trying to recreate consciousness, which I don't think will ever happen, but it will reach a point where it's indecipherable from another person. And if you're having a conversation with someone that you believe is another person, that's a relationship. I'm interacting with you as though you're conscious, even though I don't know you are. So
you know what, Jason, I'm a deep fake. I don't even exist.
Right. So if you don't even exist and you're a deep fake, here I am having this, thoughtful conversation with you. I mean, there's a sort of relationship. So yeah. It's like, we need to figure out how to define that relationship so that we don't just be completely reactionary all the time and say, oh, that's never going to happen, and then be totally shocked when it does. I mean, this needs to stop.
Yeah. Well, really, Jason, I mean, this is amazing. Congratulations on winning. Congratulations on creating conversation. I think that's pretty healthy. Hopefully everyone can come to the table. I think we need more conversation, less argument. Jason Allen, great to see you. Thanks so much for joining us. And we look forward to having you back on the program, maybe to talk some board games in the future.
Sure.
Very soon.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much, Jeff.
That wraps up this episode of BRN AM. Have a topic of interest, someone you think we should talk to? Drop us a line, and don't forget, for all the latest curated news and lifestyle, wellness, finance, tech, so much more, and all in one place, check out today's edition of our daily newsletter, The Morning Pulse. Want to search our archives, check out our latest content, or visit our website, and of course, our streaming partners. We're back again tomorrow for another edition of BRN AM. Until then, I'm Jeff Snyder. Stay safe, keep on saving, and don't forget, roll with the changes.
But if you're tired of the same old
Now is your opportunity to co-create content around any topic on the first lifestyle and wellness network. Reach a global audience through our platform and co-own exclusive branded content. All of our programs are available on demand and also as audio-only podcasts, so you can take us on the go. Broadcast Retirement Network, available anytime, anywhere, and on any device.